Well, let's talk now to Yossi Mekelberg, who's Associate Fellow with the Middle East and North Africa Programme at London's Chatham House. Welcome back to the programme, Yossi. Good to see you. So the ICC issuing arrest warrants for Israel's Prime Minister, the former Defence Minister and a Hamas commander. What does that move mean for Israel and its leadership?
I think for Israel generally it's a very sad day. I think the fact that it got to a point that two of its leaders are under arrest warrant by International Criminal Court, 40 months, actually one of the worst atrocity committed against Israel, shows that certain things in the decision-making within Israel went terribly wrong. And I think while Israel had the right to defend itself and had the right to go after Hamas, I think what this arrest warrant suggests is that it didn't have the right to do it, or at least allegedly didn't have the right to do it the way he did it, in a way that, we just hear as from your correspondent, every day there are dozens of people are killed in Gaza, many of them are civilians. And I think this is something also for Israel to reflect. In practical terms, it means that all these countries, 123, 124 countries that are signatories to the ICC, in case of either Prime Minister Netanyahu or former Defense Minister, you have gallant visit, they probably will have to arrest them.
So these arrest warrants out, but we know that Israel's consistently rejected the jurisdiction of the ICC. What do you think that could mean for the enforcement of these warrants?
It's not very likely that actually it will come into either arrest or a trial with the presence of either of them. And also in the case of, we know that the case of the arrest warrants against Hamas leaders, all three of them have been killed. But I think in the case of Netanyahu in Galan, they will avoid visiting any of these countries. We have heard already from France and not Germany, sorry, the Netherlands, that they will respect the arrest warrants. It means it's for Netanyahu, for instance, the Prime Minister, his ability to visit abroad is way more limited, and in this sense also to function as a Prime Minister.
So this limits Netanyahu's movement then, as you say, internationally. But how does it affect his political standing, both at home and abroad?
I think the initial reaction in Israel was condemning the ICC, and I think rallying around the Prime Minister. I think there is a sense of shock within the Israeli political system that they got to this point. So I think the reaction, instinctive reaction, is to condemn the ICC. But I think in time, it's also the question how Israel got to this point, and also questioning further, bear in mind that Netanyahu is facing, as we speak, a corruption trial in Israel and demonstration against him, if he can keep leading the country, especially when it's involved in the multi-front war.
Yossi, good to talk to you as always. Thank you for joining us on the programme. That's Yossi Mekelberg from London's Chatham House.